Hi guys, so welcome to this new video, and it's a general purpose video where we will be talking about the maintenance part of a particular application or a SaaS product. So most of the people you see online are talking about what they have built, but last week I barely built anything new, and most of my work are working on the particular maintenance of the existing system. So they keep working fine, and that made me realize shipping software is only the beginning part of it. So let's see what I'm talking about. Let's switch back to the screen and let me show you what I mean. Yeah, you can see my screen now. So here are some GitHub repository I want to show you. This is my main EtherXCI repository, and here are 167 commits. So actually, what developers imagine after shipping is like build a feature, test it, deploy it, and that's all. Move to the next feature. Reality is very different. So once the software is built, we have to make sure to get updated with the APIs and all stuff we are working with the external providers, because when they update some stuff in on their own on their server side, we have to improve our code base also, or just update our code base to make sure that's working fine. And the production system depends on a lot of things that you don't fully control. Like if you have built any software early, you know what about I'm talking about. Like actually building on other providers like WAPI. I'm talking about in AI voice agent scenario. If you are using some newsletter platform, so their APIs and working on their APIs, how they were updating and all that stuff, how the headers are passed, or the version of the API in simple words, if we will talk about it. And what happened to me last week, like one external platform we have integrated in our site. So here you can see in our site, we can actually using some stuff. If I show you in code, it's about to be, it's the demo part. Mm, Yeah, the demo. Okay. And let me see where I routed it. If it's not here, in section and page. Yeah, here you can see we have used the WAPI for WAPI web, and we integrated with it with our actually website, the voice AI platform. So one external platform integrated with change how to access the certain resources work. So it will it WAPI from the WAPI side, they change some resources access. So we have to update our code on that. And previously access was one way, but they introduced a stricter access control actually. And in some automations also they have changed how we get the recordings. And previously the recordings were publicly exist, but where the accessible uh, link now not working because they have made some authorization on the access control of WAPI recordings also. So the code hadn't randomly become bad. The environment around the code changed actually. So that was the major problem. So that I mean I had to revisit something that was already finished, right? But we have to maintain that and update it also. So nothing broke because I shipped the bad code. Something changed outside my actually system. So that's how the thing works. And what maintenance actually involves is like read what changed, understand the scenario, what is working or not. Like if I can show you what they have changed with the recording, I think they have some retrieve recording. So you can see here, call recording storage is now access control. If your integration fetch recordings, logs, or PCAPs or video directly, migrate to authenticated endpoint below to avoid disruption. Right. This is the change. This is the change from the provider, and we have to update it according to our use case in our own platform also. So that's how the thing works. So think about what can break, update the integration, handle permissions, access correctly, check the edge cases also when integrating this type of changes. And test cases must be passed and test existing flow again. So and make sure old behavior doesn't silently fail. So that's how the maintenance works. So maintenance isn't just changing few lines actually. The blast radius, it's understanding the blast radius of actual change and update our code accordingly, right? So dependencies are part of your product and you have to work on it, and that's the major part where the maintenance works. In reality, like modern softwares are built on APIs and payment system or provider, and like you can see, you can use for database the Supabase, and for the authentication part, you can use WorkOS or Plug.com AI providers if you use for some AI stuff or integrated some AI stuff in your platform. A third party SDKs you will use. So you have to keep up to date with them, right? So that's where the dependencies are part of your project. And every one of those can change independently. And that's how the maintenance part happens. And if your product depends on them, the changes becomes your changes, right? You cannot rely on the old code you have built when you actually deployed for the first time or shipped for the first time. So you don't control every part of your architecture actually, but you are still responsible for the correctness, how the code will work, and how your application works, and users get the final experience for your product, right? And actually, why this works invisible, because user don't see the API changes, right? They don't know how the things will work on the back end and how the things will be working in the future for the backend, and they don't care about the permissions change, the updation happen on the provider side, or they just expect the product to work tomorrow exactly like it will be work yesterday, right? They expect that. So you don't need to maintain it well, actually. You do, sorry. If you do need to maintain well, users notice nothing actually, and you have to maintain it on your own on the backend side. So sometimes the best outcome of a whole day of engineering is that absolutely nothing happened. But yeah, that's the best part you can do as a developer. And where AI can help you to work on this scenario. So you can use AI to access the code. Like you can give this documentation. Suppose in this example, I can say you give this documentation to the AI, you give your code base context, what and where you are using their SDK or particular type of endpoint, and just tell the AI, read the code base, analyze the code base, trace where the API is being used, understand the documentation changes, and find affected files, and generate the test cases, and just yeah, compare an old and new implementation and implement it. Like, and you can see the final review of the code and just give the issue a merge command, or give the issue a merge, that's fine. Yeah, it makes maintenance faster, but actually engineering judgment, deciding what need maintaining, that's your part, I think. So yeah, and if I talk about building demos and versus maintaining the products or production software, so demos are for built for the first time, right? For the one time, you just give it no changes for the future. It's just for a demo purpose for one time use. If you need a production software, they must be rely on some providers that are updating frequently, and you have to update your code according to that also. And building something that works today is the one skill, and building something you can safely change 6 months later is another. So that's the maintenance versus building the demo part. And this thing feels unnecessary when you're rushing to ship. They maintain, they arrives, and their maintenance actually then maintenance they arrive and they suddenly matter, because that's where the major parts happen. And small founder angle from my side actually. So last week I am doing like spending time thinking about the nature and business direction, and it reminded me about being a founder isn't just constantly building. It's sometimes productive to maintain the existing work, working on the customer side, like understanding the customers and researching on where to focus, decide what not to build actually, because we can build multiple things as a developer and as a founder, but we need to know what to build for the users or the for the customer. So production doesn't always look like some commit to the GitHub. Actually, sorry, progress does not look like actually a commit to GitHub, but it look like something like pure development. I think so. Where there must be changes, but that can't be visible to your user. I think that's where your part lies as a developer or as a founder. And the more real software you build, the less meaningful the done becomes actually. So that's the part you shape, users start doing it, requirement changes, provider changes, you change the code, bug appear, you adapt the bug or you adapt the code changes from the provider, bug appears, you fix the bug, you maintain it, then you ship it again. Like that is the thing you can do. And shipping gets extra actually gets the screenshots and maintenance is which will make that screenshot workable for 6 months later also. So that's it for this video. And I will finish this video now. So thank you so much. See you soon in the next video. Thank you.